The talking, nagging, lucha watching, puro viewing, indie supporting, drinking, cursing, son of a gun of a podcast. Join former pro wrestler and promoter Dave Dynasty and co-host Ike Isaacs as they talk wrestling and interview those within the business, bringing positivity back to pro wrestling. This is the Dave Dynasty Show.
Greetings and welcome to the Dave Dynasty Show. I am your host, Dave Dynasty, and we are here for a special breaking news report. We're not going to jump in all the time with every little bit of news and every little guy that moves and changes companies and everything else, but this one is noteworthy because I have rededicated myself to expanding to cover what I call real wrestling or good pro wrestling. So I would be remiss if I did not talk about a big move by one of my favorite tag teams, if not my favorite tag team in the world today, The Revival. And I'm sure you've all heard it. It's been all over social media. I have shared the links myself. The Revival, formerly known as Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson, have officially been released by the WWE. Now, this is big news because now everybody has seen this coming for a while, right? And everybody's going to speculate what's next, what's next, what's next. Now, let's go with what we know. We know that the team formerly known as the Revival have done some name changing and some trademarking, right? They have trademarked the term hashtag FTR. Now, the whole FTR thing began in their little online war, quote unquote, with the Young Bucks, and that is where the Young Bucks and Cody used FTR as to mean fuck the Revival. Now, the Revival kind of spat back with that and to mean forever the Revival. Now, there's also now, in some of the recent posts with the release, they've also maybe tongue-in-cheek used it to mean formerly the Revival. So whatever way you want to twist it and look at it, they have trademarked the hashtag FTR. They've used it on some shirts now. They do have a Pro Wrestling Tees store already established. They have a couple shirts that were already up there, a brand new shirt up now. My gut says there looks like that's what they're going to use. They're going to use this FTR as their team name, right? Whether you want to call it fuck the Revival, formerly the Revival, forever the Revival, whatever it may be, that looks to me like where the name thing is going. Now, what about the individual names? Well, that's pretty easy. They have already changed their Twitter handles. Now, Dash Wilder appears to be going by the name Cash Wheeler. Now, his real name is Daniel Wheeler, so it's just a play on that. Cash Wheeler kind of has that to me, has kind of that cool old school sound to it. Scott Dawson, whose real name is David Harwood, appears to be now known professionally as Dax Harwood. So, it looks like they are now hashtag FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. Harwood, excuse me, no D in there, just Harwood. Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood. So there you have it. I believe that's where the names stand now. That's where it appears to be that the Twitter handles have been changed. The Pro Wrestling Tees store has been set up. That appears to be where they're going, name-wise at least. So where are they going professionally, company-wise? Now, obviously, the betting man should say that it appears they will go to AEW. It is very clear that AEW would have an interest in them. They have literally been building a Revival or an FTR versus Young Bucks match for a few years now. To me, there is money to be had if they do this properly. But let's just play devil's advocate here. And what are the other options? Now, the guys have expressed in the past that they would like to wrestle in New Japan, right? With some of their tweets have kind of indicated they would like to make some appearances for New Japan. Now, there is the opportunity that their deal could allow them to do some of these things. Perhaps but maybe AEW would have the United States, U.S. Exclusivity on them. We'll see. There's also the chance that Wheeler and Harwood could do some New Japan and maybe some other spots before officially signing or appearing for AEW. They like I said, they've expressed the interest in New Japan through some tweets. To me, it would be intriguing to see them do some shots for Ring of Honor. And I say this for one reason. Because do we not want to see FTR versus the Briscoes? Hell yes, we do. I mean, that is perhaps my two favorite tag teams in the world right now. I want to see that match. So I don't care what else they do outside of that. Please give me that match. That match would be unbelievable. I would pay money for any event just for that match alone. I would love to see that. Now, there is also the very, very intriguing thought of, what if they did some appearances for the NWA? We know that Wheeler and Harwood are very old school in their approach. We know that they've had some tweets, expressing that they really dig the studio feel and that they are very old school fans. So what if they were to do some appearances? Would it not be natural to see these guys in the Crockett Cup? You would have to think that in the back of their minds, being these old school fans, would they not love a Crockett Cup win? Of course they would. Now, but let's cut to the chase and let's cut to reality. The fact of the matter is, these two guys have families. They have, kids, wives. They have to take care of these things. They're probably going to go where the money is, and that is, of course, AEW. There's a couple other factors that I think lean into this. Number one, if they were to do anything with New Japan or Ring of Honor or NWA, when are they going to do that? These promotions are not promoting any kind of events. They're not doing any kind of recording for television or whatever, what have you. So what are they just going to sit and ride out the current pandemic without knowing when that might end? I don't think so. They could literally, on another, and I did not mention, it is very heavily rumored that these guys do not have the 90-day no compete clause after the release. So that means they are free and clear to do whatever they want right now and to just go do it. That leads me to believe, why not just go ahead and go with the AEW, right? Why not just do it? Because they can literally premiere at one of their TV tapings anytime and make the jump. Now, they are clearly one of the most decorated tag teams in the past several years in the WWE. They've won the NXT titles. They won the SmackDown titles. They won the Raw titles. There was nothing more for them to do there championship-wise. Could they perhaps get some kind of unique deal with AEW where maybe they could do some New Japan shots, where they could possibly do a Crockett Cup appearance, where they could possibly get that dream match with the Briscoes and perhaps some other teams? I would say that it is a distinctly possible. Now, I'd venture to guess they would not want them making appearances on another company's pay-per-view, maybe not on their TV, without, perhaps the right conditions to that. I just don't see that, right? But I would think the AEW would be open to the thought. So we'll see where it goes. To me, everything is really leaning towards they're going to sign with AEW. They're going to be exclusive to AEW. And I would venture to guess they're going to debut very soon in AEW. Now, a couple X factors that I think also make seal the deal. Tell me that these guys are not just chomping at the bit to look at AEW and they see Arn Anderson and they see Tully Blanchard currently in managing type roles or coaching type roles. Tell me they're not just drooling over the fact to get to do something creatively with those two. They have expressed time and again how big of fans they are of that tag team, especially how big they are fans of Arn Anderson. So you have got to know these guys are chomping at the bit. And I think what we're going to get, this is my gut reaction. This is just old Dave fantasy booking over here. But tell me the money is not on and would not be pouring in if you put together some type of 4 horseman type organization or group or stable in AEW with Wheeler and Harwood as the tag team. Maybe a guy like Cody or something leading the charge, or a Shawn Spears, someone like that. And then, some kind of wild card kind of guy in there. Maybe an Adam Page, he would fit right in there. Or something to that effect. Tell me that a group like that led by Arn and or Tully would just not be fantastic. To me, though, no matter how you look at it, right, it's fun to sit here and speculate because I am a big fan of these guys. I'm excited to see what they do. I was a fan of their work in WWE. Really, though, thought overall the ball was dropped on these two. And so now I'm excited to see what they go out there and do. Like I said, I have a couple of dream matches in mind that I would love to see happen. I'm not sure if we're going to get that chance, at least not yet. And I really think the safe money is on them going to AEW, but that's an exciting prospect too, because I am not a fan of the Young Bucks as performers in ring. I do admire and am a fan of the way they have marketed themselves and literally built themselves into stars and put them in these positions. I'm not a fan of their work per se in the ring, but I don't think there would be any wrestling fan who would not be interested in FTR versus the Young Bucks on an AEW show. So stay tuned. We will see where that goes. And until next time, this is the Dave Dynasty Show, dropping a little news on you. And I am Dave Dynasty. Until the next time we speak, be good, be safe, keep on growing, and most importantly, stay at home.